Lads.
Welcome to the Sheffield United Way. We're going to be looking at a transfer out. It is just me, Hal, solo doing this video again for you today. And one of the big talking points over the summer, Ollie McBurnie. Could he potentially be on the move out of beautiful downtown Bramall Lane? Ollie McBurnie, a blade signing from Swansea. He previously lit up the Championship, but in his time at S2, I think it's fair to say he's failed to pull up any trees. The 17-capped Scotland international, he's really struggled for goals during his time at Bramall Lane, with just a paltry 7 to his name in 65 games and only 2 assists. McBurnie, though, has proven that he very much knows how to find the back of the net at Championship level, scoring 31 goals and getting 4 assists over 59 appearances in the second tier. And lower down than that, he also scored a goal a game when on loan with Newport County. So, and he obviously likes Wales. How and where do you think Ollie McBurnie might go? I mean, there's been a lot of rumours. Rangers, that's one of the stories we're hearing. Morelos, their striker, he may leave. Jermaine Defoe, he's going to be 39 in October. McBurnie is Scottish. I mean, sort of. I was born in Scotland. I'm probably more Scottish than Ollie McBurnie, who I think was born in Leeds. But the key thing about this rumour, the why it won't go away, is Ollie McBurnie is a Rangers fan, although he supports everyone. He'd probably love to play for this team. I'm sure he would find the level a step down from the Premier League, and that's not a slight on the Scottish Premiership. I'm a big fan of the Scottish Premiership. I think that's just being realistic. The Premier League is a stronger and tougher league, certainly defensively. So I think if he were to move to Rangers, he would score goals. Indeed, the former Arsenal and Everton striker Kevin Campbell has tipped Ollie McBurnie to score, and I quote, a bucket load of goals if he swaps Sheffield United for Rangers this summer. Campbell was quoted as saying, I think he would be a great signing for Rangers. He said all this to Football Insider. He goes on to say, I really do. He's something different in what they've already got. I expect him to score a bucket load of goals up there if he went. And it is a case of if. West Ham, that's another rumour. I can't see this one. But he would have to return, if he did go, to that role of target man, which he doesn't appear to enjoy. McBurnie is far better with his feet than many give him credit for. If you've got any friends who are Barnsley fans, ask them what McBurnie's like with ball to feet, and they'll tell you. I mean, he was very, very skillful at his time at Oakwell. McBurnie far better on the floor. So playing alongside another front man, I think that's always benefited him. West Ham usually play with a forward and 2 wider attacking players. Ollie would have to be that man in the middle. I'm not sure he's that type of player who suits their current style. But if they did sign him, he could offer a different option if they wanted to change things up. It's a bit of a myth about how good or bad he is in the air, particularly sort of under Dean Henderson's kicks. He used to win a lot in the air. How much he actually does with those flick-ons, well, that's largely not down to him, is it? Possibly positioning of a strike partner. And one thing I will say in Ollie's defence is he's very rarely had a regular strike partner that he can work with to get that tandem going. Wolves have a small squad, and they're rumoured to be interested in Ollie McBurnie. When it comes to front men, certainly with Premier League experience, I think Wolves do make sense. Who knows what their new manager will want in terms of attacking options and formations? What will Wolves play next season style-wise in the top flight? Another reason that Wolves might not sign Ollie McBurnie is he isn't Portuguese. The Daily Mail recently reported that Steven Gerrard's Rangers side are considering a £15 million move for Ollie McBurnie. So if we want to get into the weeds on this, want to get a bit more detail, 24 grand a week, they're saying they would pay him. Apparently that's what he's already on at beautiful downtown Bramall Lane. I'm just going from what the papers have reported there. Let's get into some of the finer financial detail. Now, United signed McBurnie for 20 million just 2 years ago. If the club were to sanction his sale for £15 million, as is being reported, it would represent a rather significant financial loss on a player who, at just 25 years old, and he just had his birthday, still has a great deal of developing to do as a footballer. And, as mentioned, has scored goals at championship level. He may thrive under a Slavisa Jokanovic system. He may score the goals to fire the Blades back into the top flight and once again be worth £20 million or more. We've seen managers in the past get the best out of players that other managers didn't get anything out of. It can happen. And we've only really seen McBurnie in a Chris Wilder system. West Ham have also been linked with McBurnie, as I mentioned. Hammer's boss, David Moyes, needs to bolster his centre-forward ranks. So maybe a move to the London Stadium this summer for West Ham, they might think makes sense, getting Ollie McBurnie. According to a report from The Sun, that's where I read about the Wolves' interest. They're also considering making, again, a £15 million bid to try and sign the striker. In my opinion, the transfer in itself is very unlikely. If we talk about West Ham, I don't think David Moyes would risk signing Ollie McBurnie. David Moyes needs to get his next big striker transfer right. Wolves do need another striker. No one knows how Mexican forward Raul Jimenez will recover from his awful head injury. And McBurnie could be useful backup. So, Wolves makes more sense. And Rangers makes sense. But, and this is the big but, Sheffield United don't need to sell. Unless an offer comes in that is over what the club initially paid, then McBurnie, in my opinion, won't be going anywhere. And I actually think that's a good thing. I do think Ollie McBurnie thrives in the Slavisa Jokanovic system. I do think Ollie McBurnie, once again, goes back to scoring a lot of goals in the Championship. I do think he's a good player. You could argue about some of the off-field antics and the bad press that's brought to Sheffield United. And how much of that is actually Ollie's fault? Again, an argument for another video and a separate day, and certainly not one I'm going to get into. If the Blades do feel they needed to raise extra funds for new targets, depending on who Slavisa Jokanovic wants to bring in, and a sale of McBurnie halted the exits of the likes of John Egan, Jack O'Connell, Sander Berger, Aaron Ramsdale, then suddenly a transfer does make sense, and I could see it, but only under those circumstances. So those circumstances, again, would be offered more than we paid for Ollie McBurnie 2 years ago. So more than 20 million, right? And I want to recoup wages, signing on fee, the whole shebang. So it's going to have to be 22 million, for example. And then the other caveat would be only if it's to stop the sale of fans' favourites. And really, we know players that can already do it for Sheffield United in the Championship. Do you agree? Do you want to keep or sell Ollie McBurnie? Let me know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. Until next time.